What is keeping you stuck? That's the question we're going to look into today in this reading. And each of these dried flowers will represent its own separate reading on that question. And I ask you to kind of go within and see which one calls you the most. And down in the description box, you'll find timestamps taking you to each reading. So our beautiful red flower represents pile number 1, reading number 1. This lavender-looking flower will represent pile number 2. And this white one will represent pile number 3. All right. Take however long you need, and I hope to see you very soon. Hi there, and welcome pile 1. This will be the reading for anyone who chose the red dried flower. And to prove to you that it is dried, there you go, super thin. I'll leave it over here to watch over our reading today. I think that's nice. But let's see, what is keeping you stuck, pile 1? That is the question we're going to look into today. And I'm very curious to see what's going to come up. We'll see. We've had all these, aspirations for the new year, and it's interesting to check in with the feeling of discontentment that might be resonating to you if you found this video right now, even if it's not the new year for you. But let's look into it. Okay, can I have one more, please? Okay, there we go. And today I'm going to do a bit of a different kind of reading. Normally I will take the cards and explain them as they go and as they come. But today I am going to just leave everything unopened, and then once we have the finished spread, I will explain what it means. But there's no particular reason for it other than I feel like it. I hope that's a good enough reason. But yeah, we're almost there. We just put down our oracle decks for the day, and now we're getting the tarot cards. But I'm really curious to see what's coming up for you, pile 1, because yeah, as I said, you might have been feeling stuck. You might have been feeling like even though things seemingly are okay, it doesn't feel that way. And I want to look into why. So we got our cards ready. Luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius, and take time to breathe. Okay, pile 1, I think you might have been expecting the worst for most, or let me put it this way, maybe your go-to thinking process is kind of expecting the worst, but I want you to know that luck is on your side, at least in this point in time. And you're being asked to take time to breathe out. So when you're really anxious and in this mind space of like expecting the worst and in this fight or flight mode, you might be clenching, you might be, not breathing properly, breathing very shallowly. So breathing out and doing some breathing exercises can be really helpful. I feel like I need some, but I think I'm just cold. I'm so sorry if you hear a bit of a shaky voice there. Anyway, let's check in on this side. We've got communication and protection. No, this way, then we can still read it. Communication and protection. Okay. So I feel like with these cards, this is more about kind of insight, giving us a bit more insight on what's going on. And these are both represented here by the earth. So it's very much to do with our surroundings, with the material in our life. And that's everything that we can perceive physically. So yeah, in regards to our immediate surroundings, then there seems to be maybe some sort of communication issues coming up, or you've been working a lot on your communication, and that's something that is now, leading to positive outcomes. We have the protection card here, the onion. So the onion is someone who, well, I'm skipping thoughts. Let me explain. An onion has layers, right? Someone who has gone through negative situations or has learned to be in this fight or flight mode will learn to put on layers and layers and layers of protection, so the core self, doesn't get hurt as easily. And maybe communicating about this core self of yours has been something that you've been struggling with, even in communication with yourself, because you've built so many layers. But let's look into the tarot cards for now, okay? And see what's coming up. Oh, excuse me. There we go. Okay. Wow. We got 2 4s. The 4, let me point them out for you, by the way. The 4 is about instability. It is a moment in time in which you just don't feel fully like you got a grasp on things. And I see that this feeling of stuckness, might be related to that. With the 4 of Cups, we're talking about an emotional feeling of like you are kind of missing out, like he's got this focus on the 3, or he's not even taking attention so much into it actually, and like in his world, and not noticing that there's a 4th on its way. So again, you might have been not expecting something positive to be coming in, but it is coming in, and it is something that you've actually been working on, I believe. But maybe because it hasn't come yet, you might be feeling stuck, if that makes sense. But things seem to be moving ahead in a way. With here, we have Temperance. So temperance is about finding balance, balancing things out in life. When we go too much into one direction or too much into another direction, even if we believe it is the better one to go to, the beauty of life comes from the balancing act. That's where life exists. So you will notice, even if you're doing something to the extreme because you believe it to be the thing you need to be doing, you might be not acknowledging other parts of yourself that are not being fulfilled, other needs of yours that are not being looked at. And with the 4 of Coins here, the 4 of Coins is about being kind of a little bit stingy. Like it's someone who, maybe there's been hardship in life, so the idea of having monetary gain is something that is, very precious to one. And you might be more closely guarded in regards to your generosity, but also in regards to your home life. So maybe you're someone who likes to keep their space for themselves. They don't really like to share. And that's completely fine. With here the card being on its head, you might have been able to release that kind of mentality more, and have been able to be more free about it, and see that your basic needs are taken care of, and you don't need to be so scared of losing the stability you've built, because there is a baseline there that no one can take away from you. With the 8 of Cups here at the end, the 8 of Cups talks about emotionally feeling like you're leaving something behind. Okay, this can be a feeling, not necessarily a very positive feeling, but more of a heartbreak situation in which it's almost like the expectations that you had weren't met. And now you're leaving in a way disappointed from this situation. So, I think you've been through hardship, Pawan, and life has been, definitely in general, globally speaking, it's been a difficult few years, and I think you have managed to persevere through it. But things like balancing maybe positive thought, like negative thought patterns with more positive ones, might have been an issue for you. And your communication style, there might have been an imbalance there as well. And the 2 4s just shows like this feeling of just externally as well as internally just not finding a point of constant. But I do want to say the 4 of Coins, the 4 of Cups here, right under the luck is on your side. I do think something is going to come in potentially that is going to help you find more gratitude and appreciation for the things that you have in your life currently and that you've established in your life. And this emotional pain that you might be experiencing, potentially it is related to having having something come in positively in the future because of this right now. But yeah, we're gonna finish this reading off today. I hope this was helpful for you, Pal One, with a few little notes. Oi, oi, oi. Oh my, I think I have to do this off camera. There we go. But yeah, Pal One, it's okay. I know there's this just discomfort in your belly, but it's gonna pass. Things are on your side. Luck is on your side. But let's see. Last few messages. It's time to let go of this dream and wake up. Okay. Yeah, so I think this is also in relation to this pain you might be in. We often have idealized versions of what our future looks like. And someone wise, I don't know who, said something about anxiety is living in the future while depression is living in the past. And ultimately, the message there is really we need to live in the now. And we often forget about that, and we tend to have idealized versions of what our life is supposed to look like, even though it's not necessarily representative of the life that we have. Equally, we might see our partner and the relationship we're in as something very idealized and not realize that potentially reality looks a bit different. Whatever it is, there might be something within you that you know you are idealizing, that you know you're not being fully honest with yourself, and it is in your best interest to look at that and to see that there is positivity towards, like in regards to the outcome of it. But let's finish these last messages. It's go time. Yeah, I love that one. I don't think I've ever picked this one. Like, I wrote this a few years back and it's nice. I've never picked it. So it's go time. This is your call. It's a special point in time that we picked this one. And it's maybe a special point in time for you. And have allow yourself to expand your perspective. Because you might, because of the things going on or the things that have happened, and we were talking about it when we were talking about the onion, but this idea of being closed up, of hiding behind things, and also hiding your focus on certain things, or on your perspective being so drawn to one certain aspect that you're not looking at someone else. So I do want to remind you that things are looking good, and I need you to be able to take a breather, and with every breath you take, you will expand not only your chest, but you will expand your mind. And obviously I mean this in a metaphorical way, but also physically. I mean, if you do some breath work, that might be helpful for you now. You might benefit from healthier routines. Well, there you go. Maybe you know within yourself that you know exactly what I'm talking about, and that your focus and that your joys come from things that aren't potentially good for you, and you're aware of this, but it's a way of coping. And it's nice to incorporate small changes, not big ones, because that can be overwhelming, but starting small and just doing the bare minimum, I want to say, but just make sure that you try to expand this comfort zone as much as you can continuously. And that is how you eventually really change your life and change yourself. And your communication style, I just want to say that again. That's maybe something to look into. Anyway, thank you so much, Pal One. I hope this was a helpful reading to you. And I hope to see you again soon. Hi there, and welcome to your reading, Pal 2. This will be the reading for anyone who chose lavender looking like flower. And yeah, I think I grabbed all of these in Morocco on some trip many years ago. But today we're going to look into the question, what is keeping you stuck, Pal 2? I'm going to do things a little differently today, and I'm going to be lying down my spread. And then I am going to uncover them all at once and speak to you about it. Actually, I did this in pile 1 and I think it's really nice. If we leave our flower here to kind of look over our reading. But let's see. I hope you're feeling well, pile 2. If you're watching this, you might not be feeling the best, and that's fair. But I hope that once we've got our answers here, not our answers, but our insights, that you feel more calmness and stability within. But let's see. Oh, we're going to keep you covered. We're going to do it at the end. Ay, ay, ay. There we go. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Sorry about the awkward kind of long time for me to pick all the cards, but it is what it is. And I want just, oh, perfect. There we go. All right, we've done it. We've got them all. So let's see. What is keeping you stuck, Balto? The answers you need are coming. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Okay. So let's start on this. That makes sense. It's been, obviously, generally speaking, not a very nice few years. A lot of commotion personally and globally, and it's still going on, obviously. But I think for you specifically, it might have been a time of a lot of back and forth mentally. The Gemini here, the full moon in Gemini, is you can see the two faces, the two women looking in different directions. One having the eyes shut, one having the eyes open. It's about like almost these opposing forces within yourself pulling you into different directions. And that can be really challenging. But now it seems like things are more aligned, wherein the back and forth is going to equalize a bit more, and you're going to be able to distinguish where it actually falls. But let's see. Let's uncover these over here. We have duality, love, and strength. Let's do it this way, then we can all see. Beautiful. That's so nice. So maybe these have been the things that have been helpful to you in your path, or the things that you might want to embrace now a bit more in an effort to get unstuck, or kind of allow this feeling of being stuck to just vanish off into the abyss of everything that always, all the emotions that continuously keep changing and rolling. But we've got duality, so the idea of there being a you and me. This might have been something that is a bit challenging, because it can bring, the human brain will go towards just judgment and fearing judgment, and I think maybe that's something that you can resonate with. But duality can also give you a form of safety. In a world in which there are only two choices, there's a 50% chance of being wrong. That's pretty good. If everyone can't agree, then and there's one right answer. But that's the issue. It's the looking at what's right and wrong and just seeing it as such. Right and wrong. There's so much more in between those two statements. And with compassion and strength to hold your ground, you can really see that. But let's see what the tarot cards are wanting to tell us today. Oh, that's really nice. Hey, amazing. Cool. Okay, so here we go. So I do want to preface again, like the end of a tough cycle approaches. So that's really nice. And I feel like it has to do with you've been very set on this. Like this has been something that you made sure in your mind to decide, this is my goal. And this is what I'm striving towards. This is what I'm working towards. Here you've got the King of Swords. The King of Swords is the master of rational, logical thinking, but also fair judgment. So I feel like you've been trying to yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, you've been trying to find this balance within, and the idea of duality of right and wrong, to incorporate it, but within a fair system of trying to look at as many aspects as you can. With the Eight of Wands right here, I do feel like this end of a tough cycle is gonna come very soon. Like this feeling right now that you have of being stuck, I don't think it will persist for very long. I think it will move on quite quickly. Even tomorrow, even a few hours after you hear this, you might be feeling better. What might help you with this, we have here the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is about celebration. It's about reaching a threshold, establishing a feeling of home, of being home, and celebrating that, And this doesn't have to be your family or this can be just a sense of community. And I think within this sense of community, might have also found some solace. And maybe you've now reached a point where you've learned certain lessons and you're able now to teach them to others. So we got here the Six of Coins. The Six of Coins is about materially giving back. You can see this guy, obviously he's got his robe on, looking quite proper, and he's giving out money to the poor. And maybe this is something that you've established now, that you've gotten to a point where you can give back in one way or another. But this might be specifically more on the material end, not necessarily just money, but materially speaking. This could also be, just you sharing your knowledge. But I think ultimately you've really been putting a lot of work in, and in a way you don't really understand why you're feeling stuck. And I don't get it either, but I think it has to do with this internalized dialogue back and forth of trusting yourself, not trusting yourself, thinking one thing, then thinking another. And because it's always back and forth, it's hard to see. Imagine you're constantly turning your head left to right. You're trying to see what's in front of you. It's going to be really hard. But I feel like you're going to get to that point, and this might be in relation to generosity and giving back to people, and this might be in relation to community. But we're going to finish off this reading now with my little notes. Ooh, let's see what messages we have to send you off with today. Pal 2, it's been lovely to hang out. And I hope you don't mind the short reading. I just feel like that's what you need to hear today. And I hope it sends you on your way feeling a little more okay with this feeling right now of, because it's okay. Don't forget, yes, contemplate your blessings. Yeah, don't forget, man, you've established a point of such beauty, and with beauty I mean just love, There's so much love in your life. There's so much love you're able to give, and that's something that, no one can take away from you ever. And if you're someone who's a bit scared of losing what they have now, don't forget that the stuff that's not material, no one can take from you. Be sure about what you want. Okay. So maybe this is a question again to this dual mind, okay? The idea that there is a right or wrong answer to questions, or there's a right or wrong decision to be made. There is no right or wrong. You need to put that notion aside, but rather think about what you want. And think about not just what you want momentarily, but what do you want long term in your life? What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to go? And how can you make decisions now that can help you get to that place? We have the last one. The odds are in your favor. Yes, they are, my friend. They are, pal, too. And I really, really hope that leaves you room to just relax a little and know that you're doing really well. You've been doing really well. And yeah, man, this feeling of being stuck isn't going to last very long, I think. I hope this reading was helpful to you. Thank you so much if you made it up to this point, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hi there and welcome to your reading, Pile 3. This is going to be the reading for anyone who chose the white dried flower. Oh, there you go. You can see it is really dried. And we're going to leave it here to kind of watch over our reading for the day. And we're going to try and check out what is keeping you stuck. Or at least what is keeping you feeling that way, because I have a feeling that you aren't, we're going to look at this in a second, that you aren't actually stuck in a way. I think it's more just you feel like you are. Okay, I think it's this one actually. There we go. All right. And today I am going to be laying the cards down before I start telling you about them. Just to change things up for no particular reason. 1, 2, and I'll give you 3. There we go. All right. And now for the tarot cards. These are so far only Oracle deck cards. Let's see. Anyone coming out? Okay. 1, 2. 2 more, please. Okay. 3. This one. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. We got our spread, and now let's dive into what it means and what it says. So what is keeping you stuck? Your fears. Okay. But it's all good, Pile 3. Today's been a great reading, you guys. Every one of yous. This is Pile 3. Every one of you aren't feeling so good, but every reading is saying that, it'll be fine. There is something ahead that will allow for this feeling to dissipate, and you can work through it and move through it. And yeah, I think this is very much this feeling of dread, of being stuck, is connected to your fears. And you might be someone who's more anxious, and you might be in a situation right now where you know that the discomfort you're in and this feeling of being stuck comes from you being too scared to do something about it ultimately, and that you need to be honest with yourself about. But conclusions are within reach, so something is going to be resolved in a way. There's going to be a change coming. There's going to be maybe some insight, maybe some opportunities coming in. Maybe it's a little thing. Maybe you do something that you've been scared of doing and now you're doing it. But let's look deeper and see. We've got strength. We've got victory and emotion. Oh, that's so beautiful. Look at them. How beautiful is this set? I want you to be able to see it. These cards are stunning. Stunning. There we go. So we've got strength, emotion, victory, represented here by fire, earth, air. The only thing that is not here is your emotions, but the emotions here are being represented by the cucumber. Funnily enough, emotions are normally connected to water. In this set, they are earth, because they are so, at least my interpretation is, they're so basic in the sense that they are where everything else builds on top of. They are the foundation. They are in a way the thing that can ground you, and that can also keep you ungrounded, because there might be a lot of fluctuations happening. But you have been victorious. I need to show you this card close up. Look, you have been victorious. You are going to be victorious. There is a moment for you to celebrate coming up, and you should, because you know that there might be some emotional issues, in the sense that you know that there's maybe some reactivity there, or there are some thought processes that lead to certain emotions, and you're conscious of that. And I think that is already the first victory there, even though it's still a thing that you are working towards. You're being strong about it because this is a goal you've set yourself. But you need those moments of victory for you to feel like it's worth doing the work. But let's look deeper into it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So, my dearest Pal 3, I have a question for you. Could it be that you tend to be defensive? And does that end up making you feel like you have to stand your ground and fight so many fights that it leaves you feeling really overwhelmed, or not overwhelmed, but as if you're about to break sometimes, because there's so much fighting, maybe also mentally just going on within yourself. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of staffs. Anyway, we got the Queen of Cups here. So that makes a lot of sense. We were talking here about emotions, right? So it looks to me like your goal is to become fluent in your emotions. What I mean by this is to become conscious of them, to be able to work with them, to be able to express them, to be able in a way to master them. The Queen is represented as like the wise protector. So she knows to protect her emotions, but she also knows when to show them. And you might have been someone who's more prone to spontaneous outbursts and maybe not a very constant in the way that you feel. And this can be from these struggles and these defensiveness. Like this is the card of conflict. That's why I asked you the question. It's the 5 of Wands. And this conflict leads to the point that this guy is, which is the 9. He's now gotten to a point where he's tired, like he's done. The 10 is someone who's he's really, like, he's got so much to handle, so many responsibilities on his back, that he's, like, his back is breaking under it, And here, this guy, he's still standing, but it comes from this place of defiancy. And maybe a part of you is defiant to doing the work, because maybe it's the ego wanting to stay where it is. When we are afraid, our ego tells us that it's better to take what we know now, even if it doesn't make us happy, because the unknown of making a change is much worse. Because the ego doesn't know how it will react, how it will handle it, if it will still have control. So keeping things as they are keeps our ego in check. Keeps our ego in control, that way around. I hope that made sense to you. But here I want to go over, we've got the Ace of Swords. The Ace always represents some sort of a new beginning. With the swords representing the mind, this could be a newfound mindset. Okay, this a new way of thinking, a new idea coming to mind. But something, you're going to come to a conclusion within. Maybe through this reading as well, through facing the reality that is your own self. That can start to spark this mental change. Because I do understand you want to get the emotional stability and be emotionally fulfilled, but this has to be done by looking at all of the things. You can't just be focusing on one specific area of your life. And I feel like you might have been specifically with the Wands, it's about your own personal power, but it can also be about yourself. Like, I see it as like in a lot to do with like self-perception, and as I was saying, the ego. So yeah, that seems to be kind of coming up there. Very, very interesting. But let's see what comes up when we look at our beautiful notes that we have. This is also going to be me finishing this reading. It's a short but sweet one. I hope it made sense to you. I hope it helps you feeling like you are more aware of why maybe things are as they are, or at least feel more safe in your perception and your intuition. I do want to say again, you're doing well and things are gonna be fine. But you do have to go through the uncomfortable to get to the comfortable. If you want to expand your comfort zone, you need to face the uncomfortable. And through pushing into it bit by bit, you will then have more and more space where you feel at home. But let's see. So we've got face your inner resistance to keep growing. There you go. Exactly what we were talking about. It's okay. Look, the little flower. I do want to say, life always keeps going, and you will always see a little flower, a little grass grow anywhere that is left unkept. It will always keep going, and you will always keep growing. But if you want your growth to happen a bit faster, if you're hoping for more change, then you need to look within, because what is keeping you in this feeling of stuckness is really the fact that you're not looking at the parts within that are leading to you feeling the way that you're feeling right now. And I know that that's very not very specific, and I'm sorry that I can't be very specific today, but I hope that you understand how that relates to you. And again, I do want to say it's this defensiveness, but yeah, the end of a relationship might be coming. Alright, so maybe you've been in a relationship in which you are more used to being in fighting mode and fighting with one another, or being very defensive in general, and always looking out for the next worst thing coming. And if that's the case, maybe this new version of not version of yourself, but this new thinking pattern that you're embracing, which is accepting yourself instead of judging yourself and putting yourself down all the time, because you know that that's what you need to be doing to reach emotional fulfillment. And maybe in this quest you might have to end a relationship, but if that resonates, maybe it's time. And if it doesn't, then leave it. That's how, for me, how tarot works. It's a practice. It's a practice of intuition. It's a practice of trying to find out what resonates within and help you starting a dialogue with yourself. I really, really hope you do. Interact with the world through love, and you will see it return to you. Well, that's beautiful, isn't it? I think maybe that's your trick. Maybe that's the new thought process you want to be embracing, or the new pattern. Maybe because life has been quite... no, let me not put it that way. Maybe let me just say, if you've been someone who's more on the defensive side, who feels like they have to show it all they got, and because you feel like you're not safe and like it's the only option for you, if you start putting out love and reacting in these situations with compassion and love, and trying to see through the eyes of the person that is maybe in your eyes doing you wrong, maybe through that love you will see it being returned to you. And if you are compassionate, compassion will come back. I sure hope it does for you, Pal 3. You're really strong. I do want to say you're very, very strong. We do have the strength card here. But if you're really scared of looking at your emotions, if you're really scared of facing how you really feel and how we react to people, and I do want to say that's the strongest thing you can do, is facing your fears, working through your fears. And maybe you've got the narrative in your mind that showing your emotions is a sign of weakness. It is but the opposite. If you are able to show your emotion, it means that you are able to face the potential judgment of the people around you, okay? Because it's the reality. And only if we accept to love people and to treat people with compassion can we expect them to treat us that way too. So please, I hope this message made sense to you, and I hope that it was helpful to you. And yeah, Pal 3, good luck on getting to a place of contentment and no longer feeling stuck. I do hope it's going to happen, but it still requires a bit more work on your end. Okie dokes. I wish you a really, really good day. I hope this was helpful, as I said. And I'll talk to you very soon. Bye bye.